Bug Implementer.
Hello and welcome back to the daily practice sessions where we are going to rip Godot apart. And yeah, of course we learn scripting as well. So let's dive right in. The topic of today is the Godot documentation. First of all, I want to show you how to reach the documentation from within the engine. If you open up a script in your project, you can always go to this button here to open the online docs. Let's check this out. Here you find everything you need to know about the Godot game engine. It's a really good documentation. And I strongly recommend you to go to the Getting Started section, go to everything you have here. Introduction, step by step, your first 2D game, and if you want to really go crazy, you can do your first 3D game as well. When I started out, I immediately checked this out, I found it, and I was like, yes, I got it, now I know how to learn the Godot game engine. And I did introduction, step by step, and your first 2D game. And to be honest, I skipped your first 3D game because I thought, oh no, this is way too complicated. So you can do it or you can leave it. Yeah. The point is, I did it and I did not really understand anything what's going on, but I somehow got a feeling for what is coming and what I need to learn and how the engine basically works. And yeah, so it was really a good and great starting point for me to get things going and spark my interest and so on. So I strongly recommend you to do this as the today's exercise. If you even want to dive deeper, you have the manual section right here, where basically everything you ever need is somehow described. So this was the next step I did. I went through the manual and read all of this, basically. But you do not need to do it. But if you want, just if you do not know what to do on an evening, you can just somehow read this manual, but you do not need to. That's it for the online docs. Now the next thing I want to show you is the built-in docs. You can reach the built-in docs if you just attach a script to whatever node you want, and you can, for Mac it's command and hover over the name of this node and click on it. For Windows, it's some of those option keys like Control, Windows key or Alt. You just need this underline here, then you are all right. So for Mac, command and click. And now we are inside of the built-in documentation, which you can also find online, but it's just more convenient this way because you do not have to open an internet site. You have a description of the node and you will find properties which we investigated in the last few videos. For example, animation. The last video we did manipulate the animation property, and even a property that we did not find in the inspector. And that's why this built-in documentation is so important, because up and until now we used the inspector on the right to get information about this node we clicked on. But the inspector does not show everything we actually can do with this node. It's just a little tiny small part of what we are actually able to do with this node. And that's why this built-in documentation is so powerful, because if you ever wonder what you can actually do with this node, you have to look in the documentation and you will encounter a lot of new properties. In this case, it's only one, the autoplay. We cannot find the autoplay property here, even if we try to really find it. It is just not there. So this is one property we would not know about if we did not use the built-in documentation. And we have methods. We will come to that the next few videos. We will discuss methods. do not worry too much about them right now. It's just things you can do with this animated sprite to denote. You can play animations, you can play them backwards, you can stop an animation, you can pause it. And if you wonder what a property or a method can do for you, you can just click on it and you will find a description, how to use it, what it can do. For example, the play method, you can see a little description of what you can expect from this method, what it can do and how to use it, and some hints and tips. So very powerful if you use the built-in documentation. And now we are diving a little bit into how the game engine is structured, and we will do it with this example. In an earlier video, I told you that, by the way, every node has the name property. And I did not explain why that is, because we cannot see it in the inspector right here. There is no name property if we inspect this node. You will not find a name property. And now let's clarify what the name property actually is. I'm going to play this, and the name property of a node is actually the name we type in here. So if I type hello what's up, it is hello what's up. If I change this name, let's say just hello, then the name is hello. And now we are going to try to find this property in the built-in documentation. Let's start by looking for it inside of the animated sprite 2D documentation. Even if we try really hard to find it, we will not find it here. There is no property called name. So why can we use it then? This does not make any sense. We can use it because the Godot game engine is built in a certain way. And it is called object-oriented programming. It is a programming paradigm that is basically used everywhere right now. It's the newest shit that the programming community has invented, and it comes with a system that we have to get used to and that we have to understand, because we write our code inside of this object-oriented programming paradigm. Every line of code that we write lives inside of this paradigm, so we need to get a feeling for this. In object-oriented programming, we have so-called classes. You can see this is a class, and a class is like a collection of properties and methods and signals and whatnot, basically of code. A class is a collection of code, basically, that we can use to write even more code and customize. So for now, this description should be good enough. We will dive into classes deeper later on in this series, but for now, just think about it as of a collection of code. That's it for now. Do not overthink it. So inside of this class, we have some properties and some methods and some signals. That's this class. Now to find the name properties, because if we can use it, it has to be somewhere written down. So now let's try to find this name property. And therefore we have to look at this line right here, inherits. In object-oriented programming, there is something called inheritance. We are going to figure out what this means now. We start our journey at this class right here. This class is called object, and by the way, we ignore all of this. And we read base class for all other classes in the engine. So this collection of code, so to speak, we have a description, we have online tutorials again, we have methods. We have no properties here, so not every class needs properties, but we have a lot of methods right here, and signals and enumerations, whatever this is, and constants, whatever this is. And then we have descriptions, and you can see this is a long line of descriptions. And we think about this as a collection of code, and this seems to be the base collection of code that is prepared for us. And somehow those collections of code are built upon each other. So let's check it out by going one node up the chain. So we started at object and we did not find the name property, by the way, because this has no properties, this object class. And now we go one step up this chain of inheritance. So now let's check this out. Let's go to node. And now we are inside of the description of the class node. And the node class by itself is just a collection of code. We have a description again. We have online tutorials about this class. And properties. We have properties and methods. And if you did read fast, and signals and enumerations again, whatever this is, constants again, whatever this is, it's just stuff we can use, and a lot of description. This node is packed with descriptions. This is a very powerful node. Yeah. Now, if you did read fast, you saw, oh, here's the name property. So the game is, this node has all the code from object, because here is inherits, meaning this node class has everything the object class has, so every method and all the other stuff we found inside of it, plus on top of it, it has all of this code snippets and methods and whatnot. So if we work with a node of type node, we have the code from object, so all of those methods and signals and whatnot, and we have everything from this node, so every property of this node, every method of this node, including the ones from object. And it goes on. Let's go one step further. So from object to node to CanvasItem. So inside of this CanvasItem class, which is just a collection of code by itself, with properties, methods, and whatnot, signals, and enumerations. You get the point, it's just code that is prepared for us. And if we work with a CanvasItem node, we can use everything from object, everything from node, so every property and method and signal and whatnot from node, and including those ones on top, those properties on top, those methods on top. You get the point. The CanvasItem layer is packed with code and properties that we can use, that we do not even find in the inspector. So yeah, let's go further down the chain, or up the chain. Object, node, CanvasItem, node 2D. And we can see the class node 2D inherits CanvasItem, node, and object, meaning all the code from object, all the code from node, all the code from CanvasItem, plus the node from this class, node 2D. Again, properties, again, methods, and so on. And we are not even there yet. Now we go one step more up this chain, and we are at the animated sprite 2D class level. Which means now we can read this line and understand it. If we work on this animated sprite 2D node, we can work with the methods and properties of object, node, CanvasItem, node 2D, and on top of all of this, with those properties and methods and signals of the animated sprite 2D node. So it is layered code. So code built upon code, built upon code, built upon code. And if we really want to dive deep into what can I actually do with all of those nodes, we can always find more code and more prepared snippets for us to use. So this is what inherits means. This line is very important for you in programming and understanding the engine. Because if you want to know what can I do inside of this script, then I have to know, okay, I can do this, I can do this, this. But if I do not find something I really want to change, or I need something, there has to be something, then you can go down this chain. Let's look in the Node2D class. Maybe I can borrow something from the Node2D class or collection of code, like a property or a method or a signal or whatsoever. And if you do not find it in the Node2D layer, so to speak, you can always go down the chain of inheritance and let's find it in the canvas item. And so on and so on. In our case, we can of course command and click directly on the property. We can scroll up and see, okay, the name property comes from the class node. But if you want to make it manual, you can go down the chain and see, okay, it's not in the node2d, it's not in the canvas item class. Scroll down and there we go. The name property comes from the class node. Okay, I see. And because I know that this chain of inheritance and I know that those scripts are built upon each other, I know for sure I can absolutely use this name property. And if I do not know how to use it, I can click on it and even get a description for it, how to do stuff with it. And as always, we see the value type or variant type as it is called in Godot. So the name property is of type string name, which we already encountered in the last videos. And that's basically it. That's why we can access or do stuff with the name property. Yeah. I hope you did understand what I tried to tell you, because this is really important. As a reminder, the exercise for this video, and take your time with this, you do not have to rush it and do it on one day. Do it in a week or however you want. Do it in 2 days, or you can of course do it in 1 day. Go through the getting started section, introduction, step by step, your first 2D game, and optional, even your first 3D game. And just go through them, just have fun with it, try to learn something new, and if you do not understand something, no problem at all. We will rip this engine apart together in this series, and you will have a really good based understanding so that you will be free to create your own stuff, and that's what we are going to do here. So do not worry and do not hurry. As always, repetition is key. If you feel weak in a topic that we have already discussed or do not understand something, just repeat those exercises, or you can use the comment section to write a comment. I will answer your questions. And yeah, have fun. See you in the next one. Bye bye.